this is Faith at Faith and Books. How are you doing? It is Friday, August 2nd, yes, and it's about 12:30 in the afternoon, and I thought I would make a quick video just to sum up my Sustainability July and my Live Like Jane Austen for a day, and then I have a little bit of a very fun vintage children's books haul to show you. So I thought I'd do those two things real quick. So I did do Live Like Jane Austen for a day on Tuesday, and it was a very overcast day. So there was not a lot of light, and I wasn't turning on the lights. I did light candles, and I did read a chapter of a book by candlelight during the day, but it was a little bit of a strain. And then I read outside for a while, but it got really hot and muggy. So I came back in. I still had the AC on. And then I did manage to read a little bit up in my bedroom in the afternoon. It was a little bit brighter out, and I was able to read a little bit. And then right before the sun went down, I literally stood right at my window. It's south facing, and I just, as the sun was setting, I was straining to read. So I didn't get all that much reading done because it was hard. If I had been more prepared and I had better candlelight or a lamp or something, yeah. Oh, as you can see, my clock is, wait, which way do I point? Okay, there we go. It's empty. It's been broken for a couple of years now, and we finally got the clock repair guy, and he couldn't fix it here, so he took it back to the shop. Anyway, it's going to cost a fortune, I'm sure, but it's a beautiful grandfather clock, and it would be nice to have it running again. Anyway, that's just an aside. So Jane Austen, I kept a journal, which of course I'd misplaced. So I did keep a journal all day. I thought I was going to really miss the internet, and I didn't. I was so surprised. There's something about keeping the lights off that really is relaxing. And being off screen is also relaxing. Now, on Tuesday, I did not feel so good. My joints really ached. My ankles were aching, and my knees, and my hips, my back, my neck, everything, my hands. My hands are really still aching. So I don't know, I was having some kind of an arthritic flare anyway. So I was very slow moving. So the other things I did that day were, I meant to do housework, and I did a little bit, but mostly I just went around, putzed around and tidied up. And I have been decluttering all summer, so I had some stuff that I wanted to put in the back of the van, and I totally forgot, and I used the garage door opener, and I opened it up to load the stuff in the minivan. I didn't drive anywhere, but I just loaded it up to get it out of the house, which to me is half the problem. I can declutter, but then it just sits there and it gets reintegrated eventually. Because I just haven't gotten it out of the house. So anyway, so I did that, and I forget now what I ate, but I didn't use any appliances or my electric oven. I just cooked over the flame. I have a gas top, so I just cooked over the flame. And the one really fun thing was that my husband did teach me cribbage. And it is so complicated. Cribbage is so complicated. I have to show you this beautiful board that he got me. This is our cribbage board. And we stopped halfway. I just got too tired. But this was after dinner, and he wanted to watch the Olympics. And I couldn't do that since I was living like Jane Austen. But anyway, it's a very complicated game. It's got all these arbitrary rules. You deal 6 cards each, and you try to make like a pair or a 3 of a kind, 4 of a kind, or a straight. Is that what you call it? And there's all sorts of rules. So you sort of deal and figure out how many points you have, and then you turn over a card from the deck, and you figure out how that interacts with your what you've dealt. Oh, and before you do that, you have to pick 2 cards to put in the crib, face down. And whoever the dealer is gets the crib. So you take turns being dealer. And so then you figure out how it interacts. And there's all these crazy ways to get points. But you're trying to get to 15, basically. And like aces are low, and the face cards are all 10. And so you're trying to get to 15. And then after you've done that, and you're also getting points by pairs and that sort of thing. And then you play against each other. You put out your cards and you're trying to see who can get to 15 first. And I forget, there's something where if you can't get to, is it if you can't get to 15 or you can't get to 31? First you do 15 and then you try to get to 31. And the way you move your little pegs is whichever one, like I was silver. So whichever one is behind, so the end is here, so it spirals around like that. You take the one that's in the back, and when you figured out your points and you get to see how far you can move, you jump over the one in front, and you go and you start counting from that hole. So it's a kind of crazy game. It was fun though, and I want to finish it. We just haven't been able to because the only time we really can do it is at night, and the Olympics are on, and he really wants to watch the Olympics. So, and I've been watching it too when it's not Jane Austen for a day. So, yeah, so I lived Like Jane Austen for a day. It was pretty successful. I was surprised at how I didn't miss the internet. I always think of myself as such an addict, and it was just kind of amazing. So anyway, so that's what I did on Tuesday. Wednesday, I woke up with a horrible migraine. Didn't feel well at all for most of the day. So I don't know what was going on with me. Anyway, but to sum up Sustainability July, so I was going to try and do the Live Like Jane Austen for a day Sustainability Challenge twice. I only did once. And I was also trying to figure out 3 meals that I could prepare without plastic. And I cannot even remember what I came up with for breakfast, but eggs. You can buy eggs in cardboard egg cartons and cook them up. Did I say anything else? Well, here, you can make oatmeal. I just did this. I went to the refill store and I brought my own jar and I got these rolled oats. So you can do that. You can make oatmeal. And then for lunch, I have gone back to the store again and again got lunch meat with no plastic, just over the counter, and I bought the rolls just in a paper bag. So I managed to avoid plastic again for lunch, and I'm going to try and make that a regular thing. But for dinner, when we went to the beach, usually the rule is I don't cook because it's mostly my children, and so they cook. But I wanted to try this recipe, so I tried this Thai peanut noodles. And it's, if you get your peanut butter in the glass jar, and what noodles did I use? I used these noodles, gluten-free, because I have to be gluten-free. Now, I think there's a little bit of plastic here, but I think I looked it up, and this is supposed to be compostable. I'm not sure. It really feels like regular old plastic. And I can sort of tell compostable plastic. It's a little tackier. Let me be back there. I'm doing this in the middle of the day. Yes, somebody's in there. Anyway, so I use this. I consider this plastic free because I think that might be compostable. And the peanut butter and all the other ingredients you can just get in glass jars. So I consider that a success, and it was good. Everybody liked it. So how many is it there? Hold on a second. Okay, I'm back. You might not notice, but I just took a little break. Anyway, so I did manage to do that, to make that meal plastic-free dinner. So one dinner. And then I was also thinking, and maybe I tried to do this, I cannot remember exactly, but omelets, again, if you didn't have omelet or eggs for breakfast, you can make omelets for dinner and just put in, produce that you got from the grocery store without any packaging. Like, I don't know, you can find stuff like green peppers or spring onions, that kind of thing. And then if you got the cheese over the counter in your own container, you could melt the cheese in there and have an omelet without involving any plastic. So I've been concerned about plastic pollution for a very long time now. It's been a while. And maybe a dozen years. And, there's people who are really into the environmental movement have been talking about the dangers of plastic for years. But I just watched a video with Dr. William Lee. Oh, I've been reading his book. I'll show it in another video. And I watch his videos on YouTube. I really like him. He's a Harvard-trained doctor. He teaches, I think, at Harvard. He's a cancer researcher who specializes in angiogenesis, which is your blood vessels. And his doing all this research, he's really come to realize that nutrition is really, really important. And he is now saying there have been studies. So I looked up the studies. There are studies showing that the microplastics that we get from our food packaging, it's actually so prevalent we breathe them in. They're floating around the air, are so prevalent. And they didn't really know what it did to the body. But now they've just come out with a scientific research project that shows that they clog up our arteries. So especially the arteries in your neck, for some reason, when they go in, when people have clogged up arteries and they go in, when they're pulling them out, it's microplastics. Yeah. So that's scary. And he was saying that he thinks this is going to be a huge health problem because everything's got plastic. And the thing he really, really cautioned against, so this is both good for the earth and it's good for our health. Do not drink bottled water. Don't drink bottled water. You get an enormous amount of microplastics in bottled water. So it's just bad all around. Bottled water was just evil from the beginning. So don't drink bottled water. So yeah. Anyway, that kind of vindicated, like, I've been hearing all these reports for years, and to have Dr. Lee come out and say, try to avoid plastic as much as possible and absolutely do not drink bottled water. Yeah. So anyway, bad news. But on a happier note, I've been buying books. And first I'll talk about this one because it's a really neat story, at least for me it is. When I was growing up, my parents had this friend, her name was Mary Welsh, and she married my father's cousin, Bill Welsh. So my father had kind of grown up with his cousin in the Pittsburgh area, and then somehow they both wound up in Washington, D.C. And anyway, so Bill married this woman, Mary, and her maiden name was Mary Flynn. Can you see that? It's glare. And Mary Flynn was an Irish woman who she emigrated after World War II. She emigrated to the U.S., who wrote these delightful children's stories. And I decided that I really wanted to get them. I was talking to them with my sisters, and they were recalling Mary Welsh because she was a good friend of my parents. And we were wondering about them. And so I can't find the bookmark that I got from the store. I actually ordered this from a store in Ireland. It's a rare book store in Dublin. Ulysses Rare Books, I believe is the name. And I had to talk to the lady because it was a long story. I won't go into it. But anyway, yes. So I'm currently reading this. I put Secret Water on hold for a little bit while I read this absolutely charming story. And these books were popular at the time. So this came out in 1944, I think. And she even read her stories over the radio during World War II to children, so they could have bedtime stories. So anyway, so that's Cornelius Rabbit of Tang by Mary Flynn. So I got that one. And then she wrote another one called Cornelius on Holiday. Now this I didn't get from Ireland. I managed to get this. This must have come from her own collection because a lot of the books were located kind of in this area, in the Maryland, D.C., Virginia area. And I have to thank Sean Standfast because I was doing a Google search and I couldn't find anything except for this one really expensive one in Richmond, Virginia. And so he helped me. So thank you, Sean. I thank you a lot. But this I got from someplace in Maryland, a used bookstore over in Maryland. So this is the next one, Cornelius on Holiday. And then she wrote on holidays. And then she wrote Cornelius in Charge. Now this edition was reprinted in 1990 by the Children's Press also in Dublin. So people in Dublin still appreciate Mary Flynn's children's stories. I would love to get the rights to this, and I would love to make it an audiobook, I think, except I don't have an Irish accent, but that would be fun to read these books, make it audio. But I don't think I don't know, I'd have to find out about the law. So I have it, and then I accidentally got this one too. So I have 2 Cornelius on Holidays. But that's good because one of my sister's birthday was yesterday, and we're having a little party for her on Saturday. And when we were talking about this, she said, "Oh, I would like one of these books." And so I thought, okay, I got this, mistakenly got 2 of the same book, so I'll give her one of them for her birthday. So yeah, so I'm just so charmed that I have these books, and the fact that they are really, really, utterly charming stories, just so lightly humorous and cozy, and it's just lovely. So then I have 2 other children's books. A few months ago, when was it? No, it was in June, a couple of months ago. It was my youngest son's girlfriend's birthday, and we wound up going out to lunch in Leesburg, and she said, "Do you want to go to a used bookstore?" And there was one, I meant to bring the card. It was Used Books and Other Found Things or something like that. Really charming. It's in the historic district of Leesburg. They have these old townhouses, like federal townhouses, and it's just crammed with books. But so I went in there. When I went in there with her, I didn't get anything, but a couple of weeks later, I was visiting somebody, and my oldest sister who also lives in Leesburg. And so I went around. When I left her, I thought maybe I'll go to that used bookstore. So I went in. I was only in for 10 minutes or something like that. But I saw right away, I saw these books. So this is Sylvie and Bruno by Lewis Carroll. Doesn't that look interesting? I only know Alice in Wonderland, and I've been thinking about wanting to reread Alice in Wonderland and Alice Through the Looking Glass, but this might be a Victober thing. I might try to read this. Sylvie and Bruno by Lewis Carroll. Looks interesting. And then I saw this book, The Peterkin Papers by Lucretia P. Hale, and I have heard about this book forever. It's like a children's classic. I love all these little illustrations. And I have no idea what it's about, but I've just heard of it many times. And when I saw it, it was in the same section. I thought, I'm gonna splurge and get that too. So yeah, so I've done like a really nice children's vintage book haul. The Peterkin Papers, an unknown to me before, Lewis Carroll books, Sylvie and Bruno. And then I've got these wonderful books by, I don't know, what is her relationship to me? She married my father's cousin. I don't know. Anyway, I've got these really charming books that I would love to get back into circulation. That would be great. Anyway, so I think that's it from me. I think I talked about everything I wanted to talk about. So, I hope you're doing well, and I will talk to you later. Bye. Happy reading. It's going into the woods. Do you see?
The bear won't hurt you.
It can't hurt us at all.